All right, good to see everybody. Big waves to you this morning. Happy Friday. Woo! Well, if you're a part of our company, it's happy payday too. It's always good, Love your money, but it's also we're headed into the weekend, right? So we're going to finish up this week, and we've got some birthdays. So I hope Mr. Mark Montgomery, Patrick McLaughlin, and May Holden. So if any of you are on here, first of all, we hope you have the most amazing day ever. Send them out shouts if you're Facebook friends or if you've got them in your phone. But we hope you guys have an amazing day. Um, so our word for today, and first of all, before we kick it off, I want to say this. Obviously, we've got a hurricane coming through that's bearing down. It actually hit Florida or yesterday evening, kind of the brunt of it. But now it's headed towards North Carolina, already in North Carolina, and so a lot of damage. So we pray for everybody in the line of the path of that, and just So send out shouts or praise or prayer today for everybody involved with that line. So, Andrea, are you unmuted? Can you unmute? Was you talk? Okay. All right. Good deal. Well, the word for today is patience. Patience. And so here's what's funny to me, not funny, but so we just had an amazing event if you're a part of our company, but I'm going to use this. And so many people are back now, and it's like, woo, and it's just so much going through our head, so much going on in our business. Like there's just a lot happening. And so for you that might be feeling a little anxious right now, this word is for you this morning, right? Um, and might even be for me, since I'm about to jet set to Milan and then over to Tokyo. And it's like, woo, we got a lot going on, a lot going on. But the word is patience. And some of you on here might say your patience is legendary, meaning you don't have a lot of patience. When you ask, you want it then. Actually, you wanted it yesterday before you thought about it. So this word's for you today, just like it is for me. So patience is, if you look at the definition, it's able to create or tolerate delays, problems, suffering without being annoyed or anxious. Have you ever called and had to sit on hold for a little bit and you're like, why am I having to sit on hold so long? Right? Well, because there's probably 5 million other people sitting on hold with you. But sometimes we don't really, it's maybe not about, I don't know about you, but for me, when I want it now. And sometimes I'm not thinking, oh, Brent, you got to get in line. There's actually people in line with you. Does that make sense? So, patience is the ability to endure circumstances that sometimes feel difficult. Like, and it's a lot of times when there's a delay. I see Brenda laugh. Somebody must be commenting in the chats. Okay. So here's what patience doesn't mean: passive, weakness, not much power. Like some people get offended with having to have patience because they think okay, I'm not important. I'm not powerful. That's why they're not responding. When really the truth is, there's a lot going on in the world. Think about your busy life. Everybody else has a busy life. And that's what I had to tell myself, because I'll tell you where I go, especially when it's business, right? And is like when I want it like yesterday, but I got to realize like it takes a little time, takes time. And so I need to pray for more patience myself. Because here's when I study the word patience, it's like patient people enjoy better mental health. Do I want to have better mental health in my life? Absolutely, I do. Right? Well, stats and facts show that being more patient, it leads to better mental health. Being patient also makes us a better friend, a better neighbor, People want to be around us more when we're a little more patient. And then ultimately, it leads and is linked to better health. Do we want to live a longer life? Well, I'm going to have to take a deep breath at times and go, you know what? I got to be patient through this. I got to ask a question, wait for the response. I got to be patient through this. And it's linked to better health, probably in my heart, in my blood pressure, and a lot of things. So this morning, for me, it's not that I want to be, don't mistake patience for lazy, right? But sometimes when we ask a question, we can be knocking off our other things on our to-do list while we're waiting on this response that's so important to us. And for me, that's a lesson because there's a lot going on right now. And for me, as I ask this question and wait on the response, I need to be focused over here doing what I can affect while I'm waiting. So that was my thought this morning, Andrea. I don't know if any of you are impatient people, but if you are, you're in great company.
Well, good morning, everybody. And this is a great time. It was a great reminder to be patient. So the quote that I found was, patience is not the ability to wait, but the ability to keep a good attitude while waiting. And that's Joyce Meyer. So when we're on the phone or we're in line, whatever, and we are grumpy little monkeys that we're having to wait, that's when we, try to focus on being more patient. And what I always say, and I don't know, is this a common saying? I don't know if this was just my dad, but he would always say, don't pray for patience while you're sitting in traffic. And so the point was, don't pray for patience, because how do we learn that lesson? Well, God makes us wait, right? That's how we learn patience. So don't pray for patience, but we can become more patient by doing a couple things. So first of all, clean up our to-do list. And sometimes, anybody else like really love a good to-do list? And we jot down everything on there. We make like this monster to-do list. And sometimes when we go back and we look at it, we can get a little overwhelmed. And we're like, oh my goodness. So the things that would normally take me 4 days to do, I've got to condense it into, 45 minutes. And then I turn into an impatient whirling dervish, right? I'm running around like a mad woman. And sometimes we got to go look at that to-do list and say, you know what? I'm only one person. I can only do so much. So I'm going to have to cross some of those items off. They're not going to get done today or tomorrow, maybe even next week. Or I might have to say, you know what? I appreciate that, but I'm going to push that off. What is that called? Delegate. I'm going to go look and evaluate what's on my plate, because sometimes we just can't eat it all and we got to push it off to somebody else or to the future. Next, we've got to reframe the situation. So feeling impatient isn't an automatic response. It takes that conscious belief. So kind of give you an example of, if I'm sitting at a table, you and I have let's say we have a Zoom meeting, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, they're not here. They're not here. And I might be really impatient in that moment because you're a couple minutes late, right? Or maybe I just scheduled it wrong. But whatever it is, right? I might be getting impatient because I'm waiting. But if I reframe it and say, oh, guess what? Now I've got a little bit of a breather, right? Maybe I'm on hold with customer support and I'm like, you know what? I might be listening to this music, but I get to sit still, or maybe like around here, I get to pace around my pool a little bit, but this is a breather where no other calls can come in. And I'm getting to push the pause button in my day and use this as a calm moment, right? So we can reframe it and we can regulate ourselves in those moments so that we're not feeling impatient. Now, right along with that is to practice some mindfulness. So in those moments where I'm like, run around, I just picture like that Tasmanian devil. I don't know what cartoon that was, but where it like spins around and it would go from like one place to another. I don't even remember. But anyway, when I picture that, sometimes that's me. I feel like I'm running through the day and my hair's on fire and it's a little bit crazy. But if I can just pause and take a deep breath just take a moment to notice whatever's bubbling up, right? Whatever those feelings are, that feeling of overwhelm or frustration or whatever it may be, that can help me respond with a little bit more patience. Next is to practice gratitude. So when I pick up my gratitude book, and thank you for all our beautiful Canadians that gave us that incredible gift that makes me teary-eyed literally every single day, but in the best way. But when I slow down and practice gratitude, it helps me get better at delaying my gratification. It allows me to be a little bit better about being more patient when I think about, you know what? Maybe I'm a little overwhelmed with my to-do list today, but guess what? That to-do list is providing for my family. That to-do list, I'm so grateful because there's been times in my journey, right, with my business, I don't know about you guys, where my to-do list was nothing because I had nothing happening, right? So yeah, today might be a busy day, but man, aren't I grateful for it? Because the options that it's giving me and giving my kids and giving my family and giving all of you is more than I ever even thought possible, right? And that makes your eyes water, but it sure makes you a lot more patient because you realize, man, every single moment is such a gift. And then lastly is to put it in perspective. So anybody else like to watch Friends? Anybody? You Friends? Or maybe you have your own favorite sitcom, but they take about 22 minutes, right? To watch the entire thing if you can fast forward or they don't have commercials, right? And do you get impatient when you sit there and watch Friends? I know I don't. I giggle. I've seen it 1,000 times. I still laugh and everything. And I'm enjoying myself and I'm having fun. But if I'm sitting in traffic for 22 minutes, like I'm getting a little bit of road rage. I'm glaring at people, not really, but maybe sometimes, right? And if I can put it into perspective and say, you know what? This is my 22 minutes to look out the window and people watch and see what everybody else is doing in their car, or listen to 5 of my favorite songs, or have a conversation with the person that's in the car with me. Doesn't it switch that perspective? So when we look at that moment as this could be a joy-filled moment, if I just shift my perspective, man, does it make us a lot more patient. So that's what I had today, Coach.
Oh, that was a great lesson. And I got to tell a personal story. You made me think about it. So one time I was a head football coach and I literally was 2 seconds from where I worked. And I was like, oh my goodness, how I missed the drive. So just so you know, as humans, you can never make us happy. If I'm 2 seconds from work, it took me too soon to get there. I couldn't even listen to a song before I got to work. And then I'm like, I need a drive. And then the next job opportunity I have was 45 minutes away. And as I'm driving, I'm like, I'm never going to get there. I'm having to sit in traffic. It's like, okay, Brent, you can't have it both ways. Like you gotta take one. So I prefer a little bit of a drive now, since I've had the 2-second drive to work. I prefer a little bit of a drive to listen to some music, look out the window. That's just me. So anyway, guys, love you so much. We hope you have an amazing weekend. And Andrea, do we have our birthday people on this morning? Don't see them? Okay, give them shout outs. Happy birthday if they're watching the recording. We appreciate you.
We love you guys. Have a beautiful day.
Love y'all.
Have a good day.